time adjusting, getting it to have exactly where I want it. Do that, and then I'll move it back here. And that should be just about right. Yeah, that looks good. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Oh, let me turn this light so that it's not. Ooh. And I will. Where are you? I'll unplug the pink one. Makes me look too pink. Hi, everybody. How's it? Happy Labor Day. Now let me just shut this off. And F11 this. And I'll give everybody a few minutes to get in. Before I do a shout out. Remember, oh God, ow. I never brushed my hair after my shower. I just let it dry in a messy knot, and now I'm paying for it. Remember, if you want me to say hello, oh, it feels so good. If you want me to say hello, be sure to say hello in chat. Ow, my wrist. Say hello in chat so that I can say hi back. We picked the last of the beans yesterday. I'm gonna let them go to seed now. I got like 12 quarts in the pantry so far, and I'll probably can about 6 or 7 pints today. And oh, do you remember when I told you I had no watermelons? Well, I lifted the lattice the other day and I saw watermelons about the size of a cantaloupe. So these are sugar babies, right? And so I lifted it to show Howie, and he goes, "No, you got 2, Bev." And there's one where the lattice overlaps the bed. It's under the lattice in the bed. So I'm so excited. It's like I've got watermelon. Because even underripe homegrown watermelon is better than anything you'll buy in the grocery store. Unless, of course, you live in like Georgia or somewhere around there and you go to the farmer's market and they got them great big old watermelons, 40-pound watermelons. God, I haven't seen one of them in years. Only 48 Fahrenheit. Where's here, Phoebe? Hey, Steven. Let me just pop pop out the participants list and say hi to Alice Silva, Barefoot Chickens, Claire Quinn. That picture reminds me so much of my sister, Claire. Denise Hackett, Donna Stafford, Karen Lester, Kathy Ponder, Linda Bopp, Mary Cook, Mary Fair, Minnesota Farmer's Wife. Minnesota Farmer's Wife. Minnesota Farmer's. What is your name again? I keep forgetting. Phoebe Long, Sally Applegate, Stacy Robbins, hello Stephen, Susan Fain, Tammy Frishy, or is it Fritchie? Terry McKinney, Teresa Pomerlo, Tina Elliott, VRO, and Yellow Bird up high in banana tree. Now I'm going to pop the chat out. Mary, thank you. All right. Live chat. There we go. How's everybody doing today? Celebrate the first super chat from Mary Fair. How do we celebrate that? Well, thank you very much for that. That's awesome. It's 93 there, hot as hell today in Wisconsin. It's hot here today too. I went out to the track. Now, why did you do that, darling? Thank you. You know what? I'm just going to say thank you. I appreciate you. And Smokey in Alberta. Well, they're burning the world down, Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Thank you so very much, Mary. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I you know though, before anybody else decides to tip me, I want you to think about something. If you spend $5 a month on Patreon, okay, you get 3 unlisted live streams with me a week, right? Instead of just waiting for me to come live because I don't come live on Our Half Acre Homestead very often. Now, I'm not telling you what to do because I appreciate the tip. I really do. And I am really grateful for it, actually. But if the $5 a month, I mean, there's 5 months in tips right there, right? And you'll and if you buy it for the year, you get, I think, a 5% discount. So what you get on Patreon is every Monday and Wednesday afternoon, Eastern Daylight Time, around 4 o'clock, we all get together. And not all of us get together, just, the regulars. There's usually about 10 of us, and we get in and we talk about the things, in unlisted chat that we are not allowed to talk about anywhere else, right? And on Friday, we get Freaky Friday, which means this office becomes a discotheque. Well, but we don't really play disco, but the disco lights go on and we play music and we just, shake off the humdrums of the week. And so what I'm saying is thank you very much for the tip. But I'd like to see you get something for your money. Do you know what I mean? Hi. Hey, how's it going? Diane Sonnenberg, good afternoon, and like-minded friends. Oh, you know what? It is fun. It is Freaky Friday is fun. And even with my back being buggered up the way it was, I was, drinking medicated tea and I was medicating on Freaky Friday. Freaky Friday, I leave Monday and Wednesday lives up unless we get really, really personal. If I get really, really personal, then I will take the live down after it's done. But usually I leave the Monday and Wednesday ones up so that if you missed it, you can catch up when you get home from work or whatever. But Freaky Fridays are always a one-off. Freaky Fridays is, whoever shows up, it's their night. It's our night, right? So it doesn't get left up for other people to enjoy after the fact, because the whole point of Freaky Friday is being in the moment and enjoying the moment. Anyway, I've talked long enough about that. Hi, Lacey Black. Becky! Minnesota Farmer's Wife Julie! Minnesota Farmer's Wife Julie. Minnesota Farmer's Wife Julie. Julie, the Minnesota Farmer's Wife. I think I'm going to remember it, I hope. Clubbing vibe. Thank you, Stacy. Oh, well, they asked me in the hospital because, and yes, you do get free readings if like on a Monday or a Wednesday, or even on a Freaky Friday, if you want a reading, you've already paid for it, right? So anyway, last Tuesday, I went out and I picked beans. Now, I have laid runner rugs in between my beds over the years to kind of keep the weeds down. They kind of keep the weeds down, but Howie still has to go and whippersnap. But I caught my left foot on an edge of a rug that had rolled up forward. And I tripped, but I didn't fall. I caught myself with my right foot. Now, Wednesday, while I was doing, I woke up Wednesday morning kind of feeling like I had been kicked. Not really bad, but like, my left ovary, but I don't have a left ovary. I don't have any ovaries. And by 4 o'clock, when I sat down to do the unlisted live with patrons, my back started to really burn. My lower back really started to burn. Now, this is the day after I tripped. So I put a foam yoga block behind my back and continued the live stream. But by the time I was done, I had to go sit in my armchair. And by bedtime, I couldn't get comfortable no matter what I did. It was constant pain. I was awake. I stayed awake, tossing and turning. Muscle relaxers didn't help, nothing. The only thing that came close to helping was laying on my back. And I can't lay on my back because my back has a curve in it and I have a bubble butt. So it puts a lot of... so the only way I can lay on my back is if I have something under my knees, and Howie was sleeping in the coach and I couldn't get something under my knees, right? So, going to Reiki tomorrow. Oh, I wish I was going to Reiki. We had stripes overhead yesterday and a beautiful blue sky. It's been quite a while since I've seen them. Well, remind me about that in a minute. So by 4 o'clock Thursday morning, I phoned 811 because I didn't want to phone 911. I would rather somebody assess whether or not I need to call 911. So I called the nurse on 811, and she said, you know what, I'm going to call you an ambulance. And so while I was on hold, she said, please stay on hold while I make sure that I can tell you that the ambulance is on its way. So while I was on hold, I texted my sister and said, can you call Howie and tell him that the ambulance is coming because my back is buggered? And because I didn't want an ambulance pulling in the driveway and Howie waking up and going, what the hell, right? I didn't want to terrify him. So the ambulance ride was excruciating, right? So we got to the hospital and they put me on my back and with bolsters under my knees, and it was like, the pain was still there if I moved or I clenched or I twitched. But I was in the position that I was, they gave me a muscle relaxer and some Tylenol because there's nothing else they can give me. And I just started to relax. But the problem was they kept getting me up for things like x-rays, and 2 different doctors assessed my back and blah, 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 blah. So my back was buggered right up until Saturday night, right? Hey, Joe Mama! I have had 2 bad falls in the last year when I cannot catch myself anymore, and if I fall, I'm going down for sure. Well, I didn't want to go down in the garden because it's a lot of sharp angle boxes around me. And that could, I could whack my head, anything like that. So, hey, Bobby Joe, it's been a long time. Hey, Lori. Hi, Leona and Jules. So Howie brought me home from the hospital at 10 o'clock Thursday morning. And I said, go to work. He said, are you sure? I said, go to work. Because I know he didn't want to because he was taking Friday off. He had booked Friday off for the races. So I said, no, go to work. Go to work. I'll be fine. Right. And then he comes home. And I said, are you going tonight? And he said, I'm not sure I should go at all. I don't want to abandon you. I said, you're not abandoning me. I can wipe my own behind. I can let Gracie in and out. I can get my own tea. I'm just slower at it. I'll be fine. Go to the races, because this weekend is the second last. Next weekend is the last races of the year, and I didn't want him to miss out on it, right? It's a short season this year. Ooh, it's Karen! Hi, Karen. So, hi, Lacey Black. That's what I was thinking. They need walkie-talkies for when he's in the coach and she's in the house. Well, I could have phoned him, but I was on hold. So anyway, by Saturday, my back, which felt like a hot iron bar from hip to hip, but on the back, had shrunk down to about a fist-size ache just inside of my right hip in the back. And it's still a little wonky, but if I'm careful, I'm fine, right? So that's my back. Now, someone talked about stripy skies. When I was out picking the beans, the sky was absolutely beautifully blue. And I'm going to look for pictures, because I got pictures I took when I was a kid, when I was like 12, 13, when we first moved to Apsley, and the falls there, because I was coming from Toronto, the falls were just, brilliant for a color junkie, period, full stop. And I took pictures, of a red and orange maple tree against a sky so brilliantly blue, it looked like that cloud back there. And we don't see that anymore. But when I was in the garden on Tuesday picking the beans, I felt the sun on my back, and it was like, do you know what? I felt the heat, but not the sun. And I haven't felt the sun on my back in a while. And I turned around and I turned my face to the sun, and I just stood there and soaked it all up. It was just so good. I kicked off my clog. Well, they're, what do you call them? Crocs. I kicked off my Crocs, put my feet in the dirt, and I just sat there, stood there and soaked in the sun. And I'm telling you, oh, what a feeling. It just feels like, it just felt like it had been eons since I had felt the sun on my face, and my feet in the dirt. It was really weird. When I had my stroke, I figured out I can still wipe my own butt. Couldn't really do anything else, but I could wipe my own butt. Well, if you can wipe your own butt, then you're good to go. Because my husband didn't come from a very, well, yeah, one sister that was a nurse, a registered nurse's aide for a long time. And then he's got one sister who's, I think she's a registered practical nurse. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it's amazing, because Howie's more like my mother-in-law. And it's like, if you asked either one of them to wipe your butt, they would probably faint. You know what I mean? So wiping your own butt can be a very important issue. I did not go into the pool. The pool, it's been too cold. It's been too cold for the pool. And we didn't have the heater this year. So we've actually shut the pool off because it's just been too cold to go in. The pool's like 65 degrees or something. Good vitamin D. Well, yes. And don't let them fool you. Just between you and I am of the opinion that that the sun doesn't give you cancer. The sunscreen does. So you think about this. The sun is one of the elements that we need to survive on this planet. Earth, water, air, and fire or sun, right? And you block one of the elements and we're in a sorry state. I wouldn't be surprised. No, I'm just a little bit medicated. And I'm just, so take what you want and throw the rest away. But I'm of the opinion that we've been lied to for a very long time. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think Biden can walk in the other room without direction. Well, now let's not pick on the poor puppet. Okay? Let's be positive, right? He's, between him and Turtle, they both look like puppets. Wonder what's going to happen when the elections come around. Me too, Kathy. Me too. people, we have been kind of, led to believe or led to assume that we are owners of the planet, or passengers on the planet. We're not. We are of the planet. The planet is a living organism, and we are part of it. And the sooner people remember that we are a part of the planet, that the planet is what sustains us, the planet and God, the sooner we learn that we are a part of the planet and not on the planet, the faster we will heal the planet. Because I am of the not so humble opinion that there is no climate crisis. There's a pollution crisis. They're just using the words climate crisis to push their agenda, and I can't say another word. Hey, Matthew! There's nothing positive about mashed potato head. Well, he's a pleasant man. Come on, gotta give him that. Well, my dad used to say, believe nothing of what you hear and only half of what you see, and you might get a glimmer of the truth. And we've gotten to the point now, these last 5 years have really amped it up. We've gotten to the point now where everything has to be questioned. Question everything, right? My craft room, making my fall decorations for outside. Oh, God love ya. God love ya. I'm going to be revamping this office, and I almost started today, and then I went, nope. Back. You're back. But this office is going to be no longer a craft room. So we'll get there. But I got some cantaloupe and pumpkins growing. Awesome. Thank you for your crab apple jelly tutorial. We have crab apple tree, and today I made my first batch of crab apple jelly. I've made apple jelly out of Honeycrisp apples, and you think that would be amazing, but all it did, it just tasted like sugar jelly. Crab apple jelly is got tang. You know what I mean? It's got zing. We are the stewards of the earth and are supposed to care for it, but I do believe we can destroy it. Oh no, Phoebe, we won't destroy it. It'll shake us off before that. It'll scrape us off like a cancer if it comes to that, and it's coming to that. So, it's time that people remembered what feeds us, what grows our food, what our animals, our food animals graze on, the water that we drink, and the sun that grows that looks after everything. We got to remember that, right? Electric cars, in my personal opinion, are not the answer. But cleaning up the oceans and the lakes and proper forestry management is. Right? Scrap jelly. Well, fruit scraps. I've got 12 apples on my tree this year. And when they're ready to pick, I'm going to pick them and dehydrate them. Just to put in pies and stuff. But I don't need to make any more pie filling. I got 2 3-year-old pie, like apples and syrup in my pantry. Hot dog jelly. Hot dog relish. Hot dog relish. And, Claire, how did your hot dog relish turn out? Yeah, going back to reusable glass containers. We can start demanding this. The reason they went from glass in like pop bottles and stuff, you notice beer's still available in glass, right? But the reason they switched from glass to plastic in soda bottles is because it was too hard on the backs of the men delivering the pop to all these stores. Well, there's no excuse anymore because all of those trucks come equipped with a forklift, especially the beer trucks. So let's get rid of that. Put the deposits back on the bottles. Yay! I'll never forget my cousin and I going through the back laneways in the old vacant lot. We called it the field because it was like it was like, almost a side of a street, but it was like a fenced in field lot. And my parents hated it when we went in there because somebody was always getting hurt on a broken bottle or something, right? But my cousin and I, we'd go scouring the lot and the laneways and everything, looking for discarded pop bottles, so that we could take our pop bottles to the store and get 25 cents worth of penny candy, and that would last us all day, right? So happy to hear you're feeling better, Bev. It's great to see. Well, thank you, Jules. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. My house is a mess because I haven't been able to do anything. But I'm going to be canning beans today, and I'm not doing a video because you've already got a canning beans video for this year, and there's probably a dozen of them on my channel. I don't remember the milkman. My sister does. And because my sister's 11 years older than me, and the milkman, when she was little, she remembers it coming by horse. That was in the early 50s, right? You recan ketchup so that it's in glass. Okay, Stephen, take care. Tomato products taste better in glass than store-bought can. Absolutely. I'm cooking beef stew in my frying pan at the moment. Oh, they told me my iron was a little low. And I thought that was odd, but they said because I've had a gastric bypass, I don't necessarily absorb iron. And I said, well, that would be why I'm craving fried eggs, fried in cast iron. She said that would be it, because eggs got a lot of iron apparently. So what, Bev? Remember Corey said every video counts. Green beans, do another. No, I'm not doing another green bean video. Maybe I'll go live while I'm canning my green beans. We'll see. I miss having a milkman. We were so poor at one time. He always left us extra stuff. He was a great man. Hi, Half Pint. I remember where we lived in Peterborough when Arthur was little, before I had Briar. Well, and after I had Briar, there was a Weston's bread outlet. We lived on Otonabee. First, we lived in Sunshine Homes, then Otonabee Drive. But on Otonabee and Howie, what was the street? Ashburnham and Otonabee, where the Weston's Bakery was? Ashburnham and Otonabee, right? The Weston Bakery, where I used to get the discount bread. Okay. Well, they had this bakery, and, oh, well, of course you'd make Christmas cookies for them. They had this, it wasn't even a bakery. It wasn't where they baked. It was like a depot where they brought all the bread because once it goes past a certain date, they have to collect it from the store when they give the new bread order. Anything left, they take back, or they did, right? And they had this, the trucks would come in and unload, and they had racks of bread for 50 cents, bags and bags, and it was still fresh as fresh because preservatives, right? So when my brother Bob, well, the first time I had a freezer, that's the first thing I did is I went to that bread store, and I probably spent $20 and got like 40 loaves of bread and just put them in the freezer. But, yeah, I mean, 50 cents a loaf, $40, or $20 is 40 loaves of bread. You could feed a family of 5 on that for almost a month. So, Can you use craisins for raisin bread? Of course you can. You can use anything you want. Sure, bread. Right? I make bread sometimes. I've got raisins and I've got dehydrated cranberry, like candy cranberries, and all kinds of stuff. As a matter of fact, I might go pick some, I was going to say I might go pick some green tomatoes and make green tomato bread. You have to puree them. You have to, you have to puree the green tomatoes. Don't chop it really fine because they don't, you gotta puree it. So, yes, absolutely. They had one in the next town, Iowa. It was McGavin's. We went there all the time. Well, yeah. So, I mean, I remember when we moved away and we came back for, on a Saturday for whatever, we moved away to Colburn and we came back to Peterborough. I said, "Oh, take me to the Weston's Bakery." And I went in and I went, "Where's the bread?" And they said, "They haven't had that here for 2 years." It's like, oh man, right? They still have one in Kitchener? Hey, D-Dobble. We had a store that sold Roman meal bread for 10 cents a loaf in the 70s. And in the 90s, it was 25 cents. Never thought I'd see those prices. Almost $5 a loaf. Yeah, I know. We buy multi-grain bread. I'm drawing a blank on the kind now because I keep saying Weston's. Howie, what kind of bread do we buy? The company name. Dempster's. Dempster's. Thank you, dear. Not dumpsters. Dempster's. And on a good day, it's $3.95 a loaf. You go to the last time I went to Costco, they had Dempster's loaves, 3 for $6.99, and by God, you buy them. But winter's coming, and I bake my own bread in winter. Oh, don't be sending me any more recipes. I'm telling you. Look. I still haven't finished the book from all the last recipes. No recipe. Well, unless you absolutely want to. But I'll tell you something. Howie doesn't like raisins. I know. Ezekiel bread. I've heard of Ezekiel bread. I've never made it. No. But yes, it's September. And do you know what that means? We'll soon be talking about the Seeds of Hope card exchange for over the holidays. Remember, you don't have to celebrate Christmas to participate in the seed exchange. You can just send out a greeting card with a sunflower on it or something, or a blank card that says "thinking of you, your pal in the seed exchange," something like that. And if you get Christmas cards and you don't celebrate Christmas, well, just look at it as people reaching out to each other. We really, really need to prop up, A, the Postal Service, and B, each other, right? I don't know about you guys, but I've heard a lot of people had problems with their seeds this year. I planted Missouri Bells, which were supposed to go red, and they didn't. Soaking raisins in water overnight makes them so much better, and you pour that water off, and you're getting rid of a lot of the pesticides that are on them. Hi, Kim. I'm doing much better. Chop some and add to cornbread. I use Jiffy. I have a box of Jiffy Mix somewhere. But my peppers, I planted Missouri Bells, and then somebody had sent me a packet of rainbow peppers. And those rainbow peppers were mostly hot peppers. I got one plant that would give me pale yellow, like butter colored peppers, and the rest were all short little hot banana peppers. So I think I'll be pickling Briar a jar of that for Christmas. And not one came up. Well, I tell you, Wasn't just the peppers. What else? The carrots. I planted 2 beds of carrots, and I had to transplant some babies from one bed to the other because there was so little of them. I probably got about 2-3 pounds of carrots out there. But the empty bed that I had taken the carrots out of, I planted a whole packet of spinach. It didn't grow, right? And my peppers are just a mess. And I've heard people say that they planted, one kind of like zucchini and got acorn squash, or planted acorn squash and got pumpkins. And I've heard a lot of, and tomatoes. You saw the thumbnail, right? Of that tomato. That was no Manitoba tomato. That was a bloody beefsteak, which would explain why most of my tomatoes are so late. Because I did get some Manitoba tomatoes, but I got like about 6 beefsteak plants. Please explain the seed exchange for the newbies. Okay. Yellow zucchini got squash. I'm pretty sure that where I bought my seeds, they must order their seeds in bulk and then package them up or whatever. But I think our seeds have been messed with last year. So somebody asked me to explain the seed exchange. What it is we started out as a recipe exchange, but that you can only exchange so many recipes before you got enough to, to build a paper mache boat and float away in. No, I don't have many pears on the tree. I only have like 6 pears on the tree. So when they're ready, they're going to be dehydrated along with the apples. If they're good this year. They were pretty good last year. That's why the bears came. Yeah, my spinach didn't grow either. So anyway, I had good luck with the cabbage. And I will never plant Cracker Jack marigolds in my garden again unless it's a flower garden. Those things were monsters. Say for a couple of years, I know that my peppers will be peppers and my squash will be squash, right? Roma tomatoes weren't fit. Well, I've had tomatoes that were just starting to go orange, still had green on one side, rotting on the stem. I couldn't believe it. I have been so carefully going over my tomatoes every day and picking anything that has an orange blush and that's good and putting it in the box. Because my tomatoes were not all Manitoba tomatoes. And that was from a packet of organic Manitoba tomato seeds. So, anyway, and you know what else? It's September and the deer carrots aren't out yet. Howie, did you research about the deer? You should check that because I want to let people know. We heard a rumor. So far it's just rumor. We're going to confirm it. That not only did we forget to enter the doe tag lottery, now they're saying we can't take a buck, anything younger than a 5-point buck. So the little 2 and 3 point bucks that we like, because they're young and tender, are now out of our reach, and they were hard enough to find to begin with. Any bucks are hard enough to find to begin with, right? But now they're limiting it. It's like, piss on that. We're not buying tags this year. I didn't pull my cabbages. I just chopped them off. Bugs ate all my beans. Not giving up. Trying again next year. Some marigolds are edible, Bev. No, not French marigolds. Not French marigolds. And Cracker Jack marigolds are in the French marigold family. I know calendula marigolds are medicinal. Okay? But I am going to harvest some of my French marigold seeds because they do beautiful and they're great around cabbage. My marigolds didn't do anything this year. Tomatoes are slow, but they are getting there. Peppers are doing so-so. Season is short here. Going to hang on as long as I can. What season, where are you that your season's short? My season's always short. That's why I, got Manitoba tomatoes. But you know what I did? See if I can do this without bending my back too much. I've already started, and I will explain the seed exchange in a minute. This year, Gracie got a card with hollyhocks in it and French marigolds, French double dwarf marigolds, lots of them, and Roma tomatoes. But I've already started ordering my seeds. I've got Copenhagen market cabbage, beets, rainbow blend carrots because I want to try them again, and tall Utah celery. And then I got 2 or 3 packages of Kentucky Wonder pole beans. So now, to report online our harvest of deer here in Michigan. This is, oh, Appalachia, really? I'm not going to say that it's chemtrails blocking out the sun. I'm not going to say it's the heavy metals and chemicals that are falling from the sky from said chemtrails. I'm not going to say any of that. I'm not going to say it's all these fires that, that have been happening across North America and in other countries as well. I'm not going to say that's deliberate. I'm not going to say that at all. I know, hollyhocks, I used to grow hollyhocks. They're one of my favorite flowers to grow. And the ones I started this year didn't take. But yes, they're a biennial. So what I used to do is I would have 10-foot hollyhocks. 10-foot hollyhocks. And in the fall, when their flower heads would turn to a brown seed head, I would just grab it and I would walk along the row, scattering the seeds. And I started out with one plant, and by the time we moved away, well, no, Howie had dug them all up because he was going to expand the garage, which he never did. But I had yellow, white, doubles, burgundies. It's almost like when they repropagated themselves, they just decided to have a party and give me all the different colors. It was really beautiful. Yeah, I think they're dropping mosquitoes, actually, but we'll see. And they, we have to start standing, and saying, you didn't ask my permission to spray mosquitoes in my area. The government's supposed to work for the people. And the way these guys take orders, they should have been fired a long time ago. That's just me saying. So, the Seed Exchange. We call it the Seeds of Hope Seed Exchange. And this will be the 3rd annual Seeds of Hope Seed Exchange. And what it is, yeah, mine too, Elaine, and you're not the only one. Everybody's saying the same thing. Their gardens did not do well. The seeds were not the seeds that they planted. All those things, right? I had a flower that only blooms in March, bloomed in July. Wow. So, okay, Seed Exchange. I'm not going to look at the chat or I'll get distracted again. What the Seed Exchange is the Seeds of Hope Exchange. We first started out with recipes, and it first started out as a Connected Hearts Facebook page thing, but I'm moving more and more away from Facebook. I really don't use it because I put all sorts of stuff out, but my feed is only shown to 16% of my feed because they don't like my views. And I'm not allowed to put news on there. So I'm on Gab, okay? And after this live stream, I will put my Gab and my Rumble channels and everything in the description box below this video. And I will also put my Patreon for those who want to join and see what it's all about. It's just us hanging out. Sometimes you guys get heads up on what videos are coming out, that kind of stuff. So, no, I'm not counting anybody in. This is the way it works. At some point next month, in October, I'm going to announce the Seed Exchange. And the way it works is you have to commit to sending out 5 greeting cards to total strangers. It's like a chain letter, but I orchestrate it, right? Or I organize it. You have to commit to sending out 5 greeting cards with a package of seeds in each one, garden seeds, herb seeds, right? Things that will give people nutrients. If you want to add a flower, that's fine too. But we do this for vegetables and herbs mostly, okay? Beans aren't that great of a seed to send because they get, banged up and broken. But small seeds do, like tomatoes and peppers and all that stuff. And what happens is I give out an email address for the USA and an email address for Canada. And I say, if you want to be a part, now remember folks, you need to have these seeds in advance. Don't think you're going to participate and then go looking for seeds because there won't be any left, okay? So you commit, you email me and say, I want to be a part of the seed exchange. Here is my name and address. And you've got to trust me with your name and address, okay? And you can also put at the bottom, willing to mail out of country, like to Europe, because we have European folks in our YouTube family, like in Ireland and England and Yorkshire and Scotland and Greece and all over the place. So if you're willing to send an international card out as an extra, you put that at the bottom. And then I take all the US folks and I make a list of their names. And I do the same with the Canadian ones. And then I go down the list and I go, this is the first person. The next 5 people on the list, this person gets their names and their addresses. And then I go down to this person on the list. And they get the next 5 people down on the list, including the 4 that were on the first person's list. So you can see how this kind of multiplies. If everybody participates and doesn't just say, oh yeah, I want to participate, you have to give me your name, you have to give me your address, okay? And you got to trust that it's going to a total stranger, but you got to trust that I won't do anything with that other than the seed exchange, okay? But you also have to commit. It only works if everybody who says, I want in, commits and follows through. And if everybody commits and follows through, we end up with 5 to 10 cards with an entire garden in them. Right? And I do my best to match up people in similar states and provinces so that and I've had people come back and say, oh, I found out that so-and-so was just, 2 blocks or 20 minutes away from me. And people start connecting. Because I look at it this way. There's a lot of people out there, especially since the pandemic, there's a lot of people out there who've lost touch with people, family, friends, holidays, all of these things. And what a wonderful thing to do, to receive is like 8 to 10 Christmas cards or 5 to, and you don't have to send Christmas cards. If you don't celebrate Christmas, you can send a greeting card. But you are going to probably get Christmas cards. But I mean, it's the thought, isn't it? It's the thought that we can all lift each other up. It's a little physical piece that somebody's thinking of you. Right? So, no, I don't match up growing zones, Creaky Boy's mom. I do try and match up states. Like if you're in the southern states, or if you're like in Maine, Oregon, mountainous, I do my best. But I'm not good at, if I started matching growing zones, you can put your growing zone. That would be helpful. So you can put your name, your address, your growing zone, right? and whether or not you're willing to take on an extra card for somebody outside of North America, right? Doesn't customs sending seeds out of country and confiscate them sometimes? But at Christmas time, how many cards are going through the mail? Yes, Donna Rishi. So, I made a US email address so far, and I went to make a Canadian one, but they said you got too many. You've used your phone too many times for email addresses. But I do have an email address that I really don't use that I can use for the Canadian one. The Americans pay for custom delivery. My back is getting much better. Thank you. Thank you, OurHalfAcreHomestead. So that is, yeah, Elaine, that's what we thought. And you know what? It's also, it's not just propping up the mail system. It's also, if you save the addresses, you can add them to your list next year, or you can add them just to your greeting card list the next year. It's a way of connecting people, reconnecting people on a physical level rather than, electronic. Electronics can be shut off. Electronics can be wiped. Ask my photo album. There's so many pictures I've lost over the years. So, that's right. That's right. You're welcome, Jules. Hey, Frida. How's it going? So anyway, that's kind of what's going on. I got to go clean up my kitchen and can some beans. And Howie and I are going to go for a drive and see if there's another thing. I haven't seen any deer carrots yet. And that's a big part of my pantry is deer carrots. They're 50-pound bags they used to be $7 and they're $8. I've seen them up as high as 10, but they're usually around $8, $9 for a 50-pound bag of carrots. And they do the same with apples for the deer. I haven't seen any out yet. None. So, and they're usually last week of August, first week of September, and maybe I'm just, but I'm kind of chewing my nails a little bit over that because I do 100 pounds a year. And I did 100 pounds last year, and we're down to our last 2 jars of carrots. And I just used the last of my dehydrated celery and carrots in my last chicken and rice. So, and I didn't plant rutabagas this year because I still have some from 2020 and 2021, right? So, and I still have parsnips, so I didn't plant them. And I still have beets, so I didn't plant them. But if I don't get my 100 pounds of carrots, my pantry is going to look really empty, right? Just testing. Do you remember my first name? It's Julie. Julie, Minnesota farmer's wife. Minnesota farmer's wife, Julie. Did I get it right? I heard the world's people do not want any type of world battles. It's only the leaders. Of course, because war is big money. It's one reason I started this channel. YouTube been around for a while, so I can hopefully look back one day. Well, YouTube heavily censors us, eh? So, you got to be careful what you say, right? You got to be careful what you say and what you post. That's why I have a Rumble channel. And I hear now they're going back through your videos and deciding what used to be acceptable is no longer acceptable and taking them down. So I think I'm going to start an Our Half Acre Homestead or Our Homestead on Rumble and move a lot of my videos, older videos, over there. Hey, Claire. Hi, Bev. I did mackerel last night and string beans just now. Relish later today. Good job. Glad you're feeling better. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you, Jules. Anyway, we've been here almost an hour, so I'm going to say take care. God bless. I'm going to go for a drive with Howie. It figures. Don't get me started. It's a Team U thing. We'll be back on another time. And I want to go look for carrots. All right? Take care. God bless. Mwah. Remember, I don't have to see you to love you. My heart sees you. And pray and prepare for the worst. And prepare for the worst and pray for the best. Take care. God bless.